just hope that you guys stay together long enough for Tuesday.
Watch out! I got my crown on.
I'm really, really hot.
I'm calling Nerd Alert.
You heard him. Her, you heard her. I'm so sorry.
Oh my god.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Yeah, I know, that's
Don't
really
lean so.
peaking.
Do you see how far away I am?
Yeah, I know.
Got all overzealous.
But I'm also trying to work the levels right. Hey everybody, welcome back to Larry Tech Talk. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Allison. First off, we want to give a big thank you to everyone who listened and shared our previous episode. You guys rock. And another big thank you to our sponsors, Cottage and Pizza on Lasher Road and 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. Before we get to today's discussion, we have some updates out there for all you Blue Devils.
Right, so Rush Week is still happening. If you're interested in joining a Greek organization, you can visit the atrium. Greek members are going to be hanging out there for you to talk to. You can hang out with them, maybe join them if that's the route you want to take. Or if you're interested in free food, you can also go there for free food, because I hear that's there.
I like free food.
If you caught the previous episode or the one before that, you might have noticed that we are posting to YouTube now for everyone who finds it easier to use. We're also posting to Facebook. We have not yet decided whether or not to continue using SoundCloud, but when we know, you'll know.
That's true. All right, Lil Dicky will be playing in the homecoming concert on September 23rd, so mark your calendars, get out there, and just go have a great time. And in unrelated news, The Magnificent Seven hits theaters on September 23rd as well. And I think our lovely producer, Anthony, wanted you all to know that.
I'm just really excited for The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah? No, I could care less.
Well, you don't know anything about it.
Anyways, in the sports world, men's tennis is going to be playing in Grand Rapids on September 15th, and men's cross country will be going to East Lansing on the 16th. Women's volleyball will be playing against Lords in the Fieldhouse on September 17th at 7 p.m., and men's bowling will be playing in Ohio over the weekend. So show your support to our Blue Devils out there. Wish them luck, give them a pat on the back, tell them to kick ass.
Yes. So,
Yes. That was my pep talk for the week.
It's a good pep talk. So we got a couple topics that we were talking about. Allison, where do you want to start?
Well, why don't we introduce our guest for today? Anthony, you are so rude.
I'm sorry. I was spending a lot of time trying to figure out where to put the Magnificent Seven thing in the
That you
script.
forgot.
I'm sorry that I forgot.
Yes.
About our impromptu debt.
Our
Yes.
former president of Blue Devil Broadcasting Club is here with us today.
Hi.
Her name is Rebecca.
And I'm old, but I'm just here to break up the arguing between you two.
She's not that old.
You're not.
You're not that
No,
old.
I'm not that, but I don't even go here. Not anymore.
Me either.
Yeah, that's true. Allison and I are just, we're rebels. We can't leave. We have that. That's the big
Yep.
thing about LTU. You can graduate, but you never leave, and that's the success story, or the people who get away.
Oh.
You're supposed to leave. Spread your wings, little bird, and fly.
It doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. Maybe I'll migrate with the geese when they all go south.
I'll go with you.
Allison, I thought you at least hadn't left just because you wanted to keep doing the show.
Oh, you got me there.
And hang out
That's the only reason
with
I
me.
wanted to stay. Yep. Makes my heart sing, this podcast.
You
Anyways,
sound very disinterested.
how was your guys' weekend?
It was fine.
Yeah?
We recorded the first episode back of Speak of the Devil,
Yep.
so that's happening.
Hopefully soon.
How did that go?
Technically due tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
Who's in
haven't-
charge of that?
Matt. Mr.
Matt Webster.
Mr. Webster, you need to get on that, man.
Get
Come
your
on.
crap together.
Well, what Mr. Webster needs is more people to join his team. So your
That's
listeners should get all
We
creative
want-
and spontaneous and join Blue Devil Broadcasting.
We want
so
you guys
that
to
Matt
join.
doesn't
It's-
edit entire shows by himself.
There you go.
It's really a lot of fun.
It is. I
You
mean,
know,
And there's free pizza.
and there's free pizza.
free food,
You
people.
get free pizza. You get to do the podcast. You could do a 5 with. You could do Speak of the Devil if you really wanted to.
You can do anything you want.
We can give you a camera and let you run around campus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we keep talking about how we want to shoot on campus more.
Yeah, we now have access to, because I asked Gerald who is one of the advisors for tech for these shows, I said, "Hey, can we get our hands on a GoPro?" He said, "What do you want to do with the GoPro?" I said, "I want to attach it to somebody and watch them walk around campus for a whole day." He's like, "For what?" I said, "I don't know, a time lapse maybe. We just do something weird for Facebook." So,
ooh, I
that
just
would
had
be
an
cool.
idea. I'm gonna talk to you guys about that after.
Oh, okay.
you can't tell us, is it inappropriate for the air?
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I've got an idea.
Nice.
Anyways, so both your weekends were good. You did the Blue Devil Broadcasting.
It was a big
fun.
It was a big weekend. This whole
Yeah.
these whole past weeks, even I don't even have school and it's been busy.
I know.
So and there's a ton of stuff going on every weekend, especially for some reason the 17th has like a crap ton of stuff going on.
Right.
But whether it's on or off campus, there's about 1,000 things you could do. But this past weekend was the Miss America. I was super surprised. It's always the same time of year, and I always watch because once you win Miss LTU, I think it's like a requirement you have to watch the Miss America competition every year for the rest of your life until you die.
Oh.
They sign that in blood.
Yes, exactly. That's part of the blood from wearing those shoes. That's the blood you use to sign the oath to watch every year. That's part of their 6-point-whatever million viewers that watch that every year, for all the girls who have competed. But it was on, which surprised me, but it's the day it falls on every year, was the 15th anniversary of 9/11, because it was on September 11th, which is always, I think, as an American growing up in this generation, is always a really weird date to see in conjunction with anything else.
Right.
It's like the day you're not supposed to do anything.
Right. It is true.
It is. It's always been kind of, at least for me growing up, I was like in first grade.
Yep.
When
I was in third grade.
when it
I was in
happened.
second.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. A little tear right down.
Yep.
And, like I was in school at the time, and all of a sudden, I want to say my teacher got a phone call. And she was like, she just kind of told us, like, 2 buildings in New York City have been hit by planes. Like, people have tried attacking us. And as a first grader, you don't get it.
Right.
So I didn't understand what the big deal was. They're over in New York, and not to sound insensitive, but
well, you're in first grade.
I was in first grade, but I grew up with Star Wars, so I just kept picturing like the spaceships crashing into things, and like that's like there's nothing that comes out of that. It's just faceless people in ships crashing into things.
Right.
But my church was having a service that night, and like I went with my family, and I really wish that I had known better and understood what was happening, because I spent the entire time, I was pretending that my hands were dinosaurs and they were fighting each other through the service.
Well, you were what, 6?
Something like that.
Yeah,
but
you were little. First grade is little.
I mean,
Right,
it's surprising you remember all this much, but because it was such a big
What about
day.
you, Allison? Where were you? Second grade. Who was your
grade.
teacher? Do you remember?
Miss Morgan.
Okay.
My dad came and picked me up a half day, and I thought we were going out for lunch, because usually that's what he did when I got picked up a half day.
Sure.
And he put me in the car and said, we have to go home, but first we have to stop, and he got like 8 jugs of water, like all these batteries. And I was like, Dad, like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? He goes, we don't know if we're going to have access to this stuff in a couple days, so I'm just getting supplies. So I got home, and the news was on, and, there's people crying, there's buildings crashing, fire on the TV, and I just didn't understand. I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't get, why did you pull me out of school? And, I think my parents tried to explain it to me the best they could, but basically they just told me, hey, go downstairs and play with your brother. Everything's fine, we'll be okay, and that's, to my knowledge, of what I remember of that day. But my parents kept the newspaper articles from that day, and they put them in a folder because, you're never going to forget this day. And then 15 years later, you don't.
No, you don't, because I was in Mrs. Carlson's 3rd grade class. I was in homeroom, and we had went to private school, and in all the rooms, once you got into 3rd grade, there was a little TV in the corner, and you used to watch Channel 1 News. So it got that channel, whatever that was, and then it got a couple other basic news channels. And I remember my teacher turned it on, and we all sat, and we went into, do you guys remember lockdown mode?
Yes.
Yes.
So we had lockdown mode, and everybody was kind of sitting at their desks with all their stuff put away. You packed everything because it was the middle of the school day.
Right.
And they were slowly by floor and by youngest kids first. It was really weird how they did it. But thinking about it older, it makes sense. They let the youngest kids out first, and they started calling parents, and they released you by classroom.
Oh, wow.
They evacuated the whole building in like 45 minutes.
See, they might have evacuated, or not evacuated, but like, an early day. But I just remember my dad picking me up early. Like, I was in school probably like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Right.
everybody went home really early, and my mom picked me up, and we went straight home. We lived really close, and she sat me on the bed in front of her little 13-inch square Sony TV, real tiny, and she said, you have to sit here and you have to watch this, and I'm going to sit here and watch this with you, and if you have questions, let me know. And that's really all I remember about that day, but I just remember after that, everything, going to school, traveling, especially because being in Detroit, you live so close to Canada.
Right.
And being able to go anywhere became so much more difficult, and it was now this big thing and this big worry, and nobody really went to museums. Nobody went and visited landmarks for a really long time. And did you guys have school trips?
Yep.
All the 8th graders used to go to DC.
Yes.
And my year was the year that they let us go again.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Think about it, 3rd grade all the way to 8th grade, they took a huge gap in letting people go to Washington, D.C. because where would be another big target?
DC.
Every single national monument that
Right.
we have that's, with the exception of some national parks and stuff like that, is in Washington, D.C.
Right.
So you don't take 85 8th graders
Right.
on a plane to Washington, D.C. for a week.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think most of my, memory of 9/11 comes from, years, after 9/11, watching the documentaries on ABC and, all these pictures and reading articles and, watching documentaries and movies. And
Right.
I think, because I watch documentaries all day on Sunday, and it's just like, I don't know. It's very
Does it move you?
heartbreaking. Yes.
I don't know if it's heartbreaking, but I think growing up, everybody said when we were little, because it's so different now for kids, everybody said the Pledge of Allegiance. In my class,
Yep.
we did prayer because I went to a private school and everything, and I think every year on September 11th, I'm kind of reminded about how much patriotism the country does have, and it's kind of very encouraging because although everybody wears red, white, and blue stripes for 4th of July and the
Right.
holiday and whatever, I think this is the time people are most respectful because it's maybe not so respectful to wear the flag as a t-shirt
Right.
and to
Right.
fly it from the back of your car or your truck or whatever.
Right.
I get it's a way to show that you love your nation, but I think the most the respectful things come from unfortunate holidays like
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up the respectful thing because I didn't actually realize this until Allison texted me about it. But kids nowadays, our age and younger, who didn't get it growing up, or in the case of kids like my youngest brother and younger, who he had just turned 1
Right.
when that happened. You see there's a lot of 9/11 jokes and memes everywhere.
What?
Have you not seen
I've-
those?
no,
my brother would show me things oh boy, someone would take a shot from Star Wars. They're flying their X-wings. It's I'm going in, and then it cuts to footage of the plane hitting the tower, or the Jimmy Neutron intro, and he flies into the tower, and
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
So the thing that I saw this year, which is the closest thing that I could even compare to that, because that's insane, and I've never seen that before. Do you guys know the movie Lilo and Stitch?
Yes.
Came out just after that, and this year I saw all the video circulate of the footage before.
Oh, I saw something
They
about
revamped
that.
a whole ton of that movie because the end sequence where they're flying that red spaceship trying to get away from that guy and get
Yeah.
out. Well, originally they were flying through a city with buildings in a regular Earth airplane.
Wow.
Right, exactly. They changed so much of that because of the sensitivity. I mean, they were flying through huge and running into skyscrapers, scraping the sides of big skyscraper buildings.
Yeah, that's distasteful.
Well,
Yeah.
they didn't know.
That's true.
They
Well, they
released,
didn't know.
but they
That was
released 2 weeks after.
the Lone Gunman, I think, too. It was a spin-off of the X-Files, and the pilot was something about a plot to crash a plane into the World
Right.
Trade Center, and they had to
pull it.
cut that and
Right.
cancel that show.
It changed
You know.
when something like that happens. It's like a paradigm shift for especially even just pop culture stuff, because you ever watch old episodes of things,
Yeah.
like old episodes of like regular TV shows that are set in New York,
Right.
and you see that skyline, and that's not what it looks like anymore, and kids don't get it. Like younger people
No,
don't
kids
get
don't
it
get it.
because you don't know what that skyline ever looked like before.
Right.
You don't notice that it's really any different,
Right.
and or if you notice that it's different, you don't really know why.
Right. That's true.
But it's
don't
like, but then I wonder too, if it's used in satire, does that somehow make it better? Because like there's the episode of Family Guy where Lois is running for mayor, and she can't think of anything to like sway the voters, so she just keeps saying 9/11 was bad. 9/11 was bad,
Okay,
and
but-
that's like more commentary on like people. But
I think that's more commentary on
It's
how
still-
politicians use trigger words and scare tactics to
Sure.
sway voters more
Yeah.
than that being satire about 9/11 as a whole.
well, no, not satire about 9/11, but I saw it as like satire about like people.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as if somebody had said, if they went, 9/11, weapons of mass destruction, Syrian terrorists,
Right.
Zika virus, mad cow disease. I don't know.
Today
what-
it's like ISIS.
Well, exactly. So you just pick something that freaks people out because they're not 100% sure what it is.
Yeah.
And they're not educated on how dangerous it actually is and how much it affects them in the region that they're in. Like people say Flint water crisis. So is that a huge deal? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Does it need to be dealt with? 100%. Was it dealt with poorly? Yeah, I think so. But,
Yes.
but if you ask somebody what exactly it was and what happened, no one can tell you.
Right.
But they're just buzzwords. So I think more than anything, Family Guy likes to play on the wide scope of stuff, and I think they just picked that topic because it's immediately recognizable for the entire generation that is watching Family
Right.
Guy.
Yeah.
I think I was talking to someone, and they are more of like 9/11 was a huge event for America. It was like almost a turning point for
I think it was probably
everything.
and somebody can comment on the video or link or
Yes.
whatever, but it would probably be one of the biggest events for our
Yep.
generation, and then the generation before us would be like our grandparents would be Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
Because you're talking
I
about
agree.
Yeah,
an
American
attack
history,
on
yeah.
you're talking about an attack
Right.
on American soil, and in my head right now, no computer in front of me,
I think that was
no research. That would be the
like,
last
first
attack.
one since Pearl Harbor.
Right, that would be the last attack that I could think of off the cuff. That was on American
Pearl Harbor.
soil, and if somebody wants to tell me I'm wrong, they can comment
Yes.
on the video because
Yes.
I would like to know that I'm wrong.
Right.
Well, and I hope I'm not because
I-
then they're too close together.
Don't even think they're teaching about 9/11 in schools anymore. Like I
No?
don't.
Does history go that far? Did you ever
I-
get to the
I never,
2000s?
Not in high school. I didn't.
No, not in high school.
I don't
for
know
me.
if they are now or if I heard it wrong and they are getting it taught and it's more of like a history lesson. Like, hey,
It's
this
just
happened.
I feel like maybe at this point they should, because like my brother.
I don't know. I
My
think
brother-
I might have heard my brother wrong, but
Is it?
I think that's probably one of those things that if you have school
Like-
on that day or that week of school, they might touch on it, but it's not.
Like
I've
with
never,
Martin Luther
we never,
King Jr.
right? But we never even that's even before. So when I was in school, you never even covered the 90s.
oh wow.
You never got that far in actual history class. You never really got that far. Maybe in high school when you covered, I had like a
Right.
constitutional class, and we got way farther because it was a narrow scope of what we took as U.S. AP history.
Right.
But we never got even to the 90s, so you didn't really do Bush 1, Clinton, any of that. You did that in college on your own later.
Yeah, I don't think we got to that either. It was more of like U.S. history would be like
Yeah.
stuff that happened in the 70s, stuff that happened in the 60s.
Yeah, or you start with the founding fathers and you see how
Right.
far you get in 10 or 12 weeks of school.
Right.
Right. But I would hope that they would start teaching that now, because like my youngest brother, who was a year old at the time of the attacks, he's a sophomore in high school now. So now there's kids who weren't even like conceived who are going to be going into high school and stuff.
My
and
cousin-
they should really learn about that.
My cousin was born the year that happened. She's a 2000, actually she's a late 2000 baby. So she was maybe 4 months old. So she never had any of that. She grew up in a post 9/11 world.
Right.
For her, that's everything. That's her brain. Kind of like if you hand her an iPhone. She knows exactly what to do
Right.
with it. There's
Yeah.
no learning curve there.
I mean, like us, like we were what, first, second, and third grade. So
Yeah,
I mean,
so it was
we were
8,
so
7,
young that
yeah.
it's just kind of like, well, okay, it happened. Like we only know what we see on TV. what we're told from our parents.
And what you vaguely remember.
Yeah, like vaguely. Like I can't
very
even.
vague.
Like you have a really good memory. That's awesome. Like I couldn't even tell you. I just remember getting pulled out of school.
My
That's
memory
it.
of 9/11 is I was in class. My teacher got the phone call. She told us, and after that, I'm at the service about 6 or 7 hours later. I don't remember what happened.
Dinosaur hands.
Doing the dinosaur hands.
But going back to the whole respectful thing, and you know, it's people respect this day the most. I don't know if you guys watch Sunday Night Football or not, but you've all heard about the Black Lives Matter and the activists and the protesters.
Yeah.
They still, some of them took a knee on that day, on Sunday. And I just want to hear your guys' input on if you thought, hey, okay, freedom of speech, or if they should have, I don't know, thought differently before they.
It wasn't as many players as I thought were going to do it. I thought it
Yeah.
was going to be a really big deal. And was it the Seahawks that took arms?
Yep.
And they all stood united as one.
Yep.
And I thought that was the best display.
I think Colin Kaepernick and another of his teammates took a knee.
And there were four Miami Dolphins.
Yes,
I think so. Because I try and follow and I try and listen to the news on the radio and stuff. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that maybe that would be the day you don't do it. I get it because it's really I understand keeping your message consistent and not giving up and really being in it for
but of all days.
For what you're active for. I know. I get it
But that's
and
like,
overall as an issue, I totally and it bothers me when people say that it's disrespectful and it's this and it's that, but we constitutionally, it is their constitutional right to do that. We do not live in a society where you can get in trouble, quote unquote, or whatever, however you want to say it, for doing something like that. It is a right owed to you as an American to show your point of view, and they're doing it quietly. I know they're doing it on national television, but it is not aggressive. They're not burning flags. They're not ripping them. You know what I mean? It's probably the quietest and most peaceful way that they could bring about this kind of media press, because they get insane press coverage on this, and it's really brought this issue to the forefront because everybody knows what it is and everybody's talking about it. I don't even watch football and I know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, it's like I've always grown up with kind of like the idea of like you should stick to your guns, and and in a lot of situations, I always try to see it as like, should you take exception because of this? What does that say about you or whatever you're doing overall? But it's difficult for me to say whether like they should have taken exception or if sticking to what they're doing is the right way to go.
It's very personal because it's one of those
It is,
things
it's
like
personal, and
would you
personally,
have?
I don't know. I probably
See, you
would
don't
not
know.
have on this day. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have done it in the first place. But personally, on a day like that day, September 11th, I think I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I guess that's the $1 million question. Would you or would you not? But I personally think they should have just stood with their hands over their heart on that day, honored the people who lost their lives for them, fighting in the war, the firefighters and policemen who lost their lives going into the building to try to save people, and stood and put their hand over their heart for all the Americans that lost their lives that day. So, could have done it for them, but hey, I'm not them.
Choices.
That's what, and that's another thing about being an American. That's great. You can make your own choice, and you don't get punished. I mean, you do get punished for your choices, but
You can get punished.
freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Guys, if you're still with us at this point, stick around after the break when we take a word from our sponsors, because we're gonna change gears, come up with something a little bit more
Peppy.
peppy, lighthearted. We just felt that
There's no transition out of this other than a commercial break.
We just felt that since this was the week of the anniversary, we should at least touch on it. So thanks for listening and stick around.
Lawrence Tech students know that not all pizza is the same, and Cottage Inn Gourmet Pizza is the LTU favorite. Cottage Inn Pizza on Lasser Road is close to campus and ready to bring hot pizza, wings, breadsticks, subs, salads, calzones, and cold beverages right to your dorm with the fast delivery service. Save your Blue Devil dollars and carry out the Cottage Inn LTU special, a large 2-topping pizza and small breadsticks for only $12.99. Cottage Inn is a proud sponsor and the official pizza of Blue Devil Broadcasting.
Fifth Avenue in Royal Oak is the premier entertainment destination with great food and drink specials in front of the most TVs in the metro area. Our private second floor is great for parties, concerts, and the best club experience on Friday and Saturday nights. Don't settle for the ordinary, make it a Fifth Avenue night.
Do you want to say that we're back?
Yeah.
And welcome back to Larry Tech Talk with Allison and Anthony. I'm Rebecca, and I am not supposed to be talking to you.
She's our guest, but she just welcomed us back,
Damn it,
and that's
Rebecca.
good. All right, guys.
So what else are we talking about?
We're
changing
switching gears to homecoming. All right, guys. Are you pumped for homecoming week?
Yeah.
I don't even go here, and I'm pumped.
Anthony,
I work next to campus, so for me to
Anthony.
come is easy.
senior year homecoming. Are you
I
pumped?
know. Well, I guess. Look.
First, we have to teach Anthony who Lil Dicky is.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had me
Dave.
listen to a little bit of Lil Dicky before we started recording.
He had some musical
my-
education.
That was my first exposure to Lil Dicky.
So what'd you think? We did Say That Money, and we did Let Me Freak.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it was
I feel like that's what you would look like if you were a rapper. No, not the hair and everything. I'm just saying, like, it would have to be original and satirical, and you'd have to really be able to get into it. And I feel like you're not an Eminem, and you're definitely not an LL Cool J. I'm sorry, but I think you could totally pull off a Lil Dicky.
like
His actual name's David. I
Yep.
did not know that.
Yeah,
a commonly
because you'd think it'd be Richard because of Dicky. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
a commonly misinterpreted thing about me is that I hate rap.
I don't think that
There-
actually.
Are you
Well,
kidding me? You said you hated rap.
When did I say
Like
that?
2 years ago when I met you, you're like, I
Like
can't
2
stand
years
this
ago?
rap music.
I'm pretty sure. No, even at that point I was.
No,
listening to rap.
you don't
No,
like
I
rap.
was.
Nope, he's
Okay.
taking it. No.
No, here's why, and I will tell you.
Oh, he's pointing.
The first time that that I really started trying to get into rap was Red vs. Blue had just done like season 9, I think, and their soundtrack I always thought was really well done, and they had a couple parts that were like they would bring a rapper in, but the composer has a more like rock and roll background, so they'd mix the two together, and I thought that was cool, and that was like my gateway into more rap. I don't go out of my way to listen to rap, but you know, it's enjoyable enough, and I really enjoyed Lil Dicky. It reminded me of like The Lonely Island, or
Yeah, he's like
Okay, yeah,
or,
yeah.
or Weird Al,
or Weird
Yeah.
Al or
Yeah,
Starbomb.
Ooh, what's Starbomb?
Starbomb is a comedy group made up of Ninja Sex Party, which is Daniel Lavadon.
I feel like you're
and
making these
Brian-
up.
I'm not.
But you
not.
can't
I
make up
was-
something that's
I was
called
talking-
Ninja Sex Party.
I was talking to you about Game Grumps a couple weeks ago and how they do the cartoon heads.
Yeah.
Aaron and Dan are the Game Grumps.
Okay.
Dan and Brian are Ninja Sex
Where's
Party.
my cartoon
which
head? When is that coming in?
I don't know. We're still working on that. Dan and Brian are Ninja Sex Party as Danny Sexbang and Ninja Brian. And then Starbomb is a collaboration with Aaron, the other Game Grump. And they do like video game comedy music.
Okay,
Like,
so I need you guys to come up with better radio names because if these guys are called the Ninja Sex Bombs, and it's killing me. You guys,
Ninja Sex Party.
These sound like sorry, did
Ninja
I?
Sex Party.
did
It's
I-
a real thing. He
did I-
listens to it in his car.
I
Okay,
do.
well, you guys need to come up with these are pretend. Am I allowed? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I think I'm in charge, so I can say whatever I want.
She can.
It's your radio name. It's like your porno name. It's got to be really good, and it's got to kind of embody you.
my Twitter name is Fat Tony with a
Oh,
PH.
it's all about that girth.
Fat. Ew, I do not like that word girth. Girth
I-
and moist.
You don't like moist?
Oh, no. Like, girthy, like, ugh.
Nah,
like,
girth is a weird word.
Don't do that with your hands.
Like, girthy and, like, moist. Oh,
Okay, new topic
Well, I
because we
wasn't
just got
saying
real.
it in terms of that. But what I was saying though, like,
But we've had a
because
discussion
for
about you
Starbomb-
being Fat Tony. You have to
PH.
take up a
With a PH.
Oh, like
which was also a Game Grumps reference because
Oh.
they.
fat.
do you know what I think of when I think of fat? I think of baby fat. Do you remember those pants that it was the Kimora Lee Simmons
Yep.
line? Yeah,
Oh my
baby
God.
fat.
What would be my nickname?
Big Al.
Oh, yeah.
If we're going with making you extra large.
Fat
No, that's just
Tony
what I was
and
thinking.
Big Al.
Like, well, that's what I was thinking.
Now you guys have a rap group.
Okay, so I have a.
I don't like that.
Do you remember Walking with Dinosaurs way back when?
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I have the VHS thing for that and the VHS special, which was Allosaurus, and the one they focused on was the Allosaurus known as Big Al. They called him Big Al. And it was one of my favorite things to watch.
We could call you Allosaurus. See, I like nicknames to develop, like, just
Allosaurus.
naturally.
I like that.
Because I have one of the girls I work with, we call her name's Shannon Long, and we call her the beer queen, so I call her Shandy.
Shandy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but that's what it says on my phone, too. But we need to develop a natural nickname for you, because it needs to be personal.
Allosaurus?
Yeah, you're not really.
No, I'm not an Allosaurus.
No.
I mean, you're vicious.
So are you.
Ooh.
No, I'm not.
Are you kidding me?
I might be
How
savage.
am I vicious?
I don't know.
You are not savage.
So we were
you are the furthest thing from savage.
So we
there
were
is.
talking about Homecoming.
Oh yeah, Homecoming.
Anthony.
Well, what I was saying was though it reminded me of like the Lonely Island and Starbomb stuff with like kind of the like funny rap.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Like I really enjoy.
There's a very, very blatant humor.
That's my favorite kind of.
Well, so
rap,
I'm
but
interested to see what his concert looks like then.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not going to be Waka Flocka Flame.
That's
That was nuts. Did you guys go to that last year?
Yes, I did.
Did
No.
you leave early? Because I did.
I did not.
I was recording the hockey game. It was going on at the same time.
You missed a good time. That was nuts.
I heard.
I cannot believe that happened on this campus. Not that it was that crazy.
Do you want to explain what
but
happened
it was,
for those of us who were at the hockey game?
Well, I
instead?
actually I talked to one of the security officers because I took classes in the security building, so you get to know them a lot. And one of the security officers said, "So did anything crazy happen?" He said, "Well, a guy peed on a girl's leg."
Oh.
That sounds about right.
And somebody else, and they had, and he held up little air quotes, a fight. He said, it's whatever a fight means at LTU, which I think it was just two guys, rubbing chests together aggressively.
Oh.
So,
That sounds just a little...
But it was,
It was
else.
I think
freezing.
we left, it was really cold. And
It was
think
freezing.
about how much worse it would have been had it been warm. And everybody wanted to go because the
Ew,
weather
they'd
was
be,
nice.
They'd be all up against each other sweating.
Well, no, I
and-
don't mean hot. I just mean it was cold enough that it
Oh.
would, maybe people didn't go. So the
Oh.
crowd would have been bigger, so it would have been a little bit more insane than it already was. Because
Right.
he got off stage. He was puncturing beers and throwing them into the crowd off
He
the stage.
bit into the side of a beer can
Yeah.
like an apple.
Yeah, he bit it and threw it off the stage.
like, this guy's
And then
insane.
He jumped off the stage and got in the crowd and started mosh pitting and jumping, and he's still, I don't know if that would be rapping or what he was doing while he was in the
going
crowd. I think it was
crazy.
just called crowd hype
I think
at
it's
that
called
point.
drugs.
I don't know. I don't like to speculate on people's drugs use, on people's drug use.
But that might have
it
been
was-
like a better show than previous ones.
Yeah,
Well,
let's-
anything was better than Skylar Grey because poor
I
girl
did
was
not
comatose.
or Blau.
That was
Whatever a
weird.
Blau is.
Well,
Blau
Blau
was-
was the year of LMFAO. When
Right,
they
we were
didn't
supposed to have...
come.
No, we weren't even supposed to have the full group, just the one guy.
Was it Red Foo? Was that who was the old one or the young one?
I
think
don't
it was,
know.
I think it was the old. Do you know that's his uncle?
What?
Blau?
No. The LMFAO guys, the one guy's the other dude's uncle.
Their uncle and nephew, that's
I
the...
believe they're related. You have a computer, you
That's
should
so
look it up.
weird. I just pictured me and
So-
my uncle with his
So
beer belly
Waka Flocka
touring
was
around.
last year. The year
Yeah.
before that was Blau.
I believe-
No. Skylar Grey was the year before that.
No way.
Before Waka Flocka?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Then Blau.
girlfriend was drugged up.
She...
What was my freshman year?
She was bad.
She was bad.
But you know what's funny is I knew all her songs that I know are collaborations with other artists, and so when I was
Dev.
like, "What is she gonna?" Dev was good.
There
That
was, like-
a
That
good
was my
concert.
freshman year. Yeah.
My freshman year was Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, that would have been in 303, right?
And 303, and it was
loved 303.
it was a cool concert. And you know what was fun for me is 303 was one of those bands I was obsessed with when I was going through my emo rock phase.
Middle school?
When I used to go to the Crowfoot Ballroom in Pontiac and see Mayday Parade and
Oh
Hannah
my
Kills.
gosh.
And you
Right.
would shop at Hot Topic.
Exactly, and I shot all my
Love
clothes
Mayday
came from Hot
Parade.
Topic, and I hated it when my mom bought
PacSun.
me clothes from Sears, and I always wanted to shop at PacSun, but it was
Never
too
could have because it was too
expensive. Yep. And all those loser kids at school shopped at Abercrombie and Fitch.
And you had the
Stuck up.
etnies.
Yep. And you had to have Converse. I had black on black on black Converse combat boots with huge pockets and buckles on them. Yeah. So for me, it was like this huge throwback thing because it
Yeah.
was 303. The first time I ever heard Kesha sing was a 303 song.
That's true.
Right? So that was like my high point. So I'm kind of hoping that they've maybe brought it back around, and whoever are freshmen this year is going to have that experience again, and
They'll
they can
have-
keep that momentum.
Yeah. Now imagine if you were a
Be nice.
freshman last year, you had Waka Flocka, and then this year's Little Dicky.
So it's like it's all the
That's
rappers.
awesome. Yeah.
That does sound like a good deal. Even for someone like me who hates rap.
You do hate
But-
rap.
We'll get
I
you a
don't hate
T-shirt.
rap.
It's not
I
official till it's not a
hate
T-shirt.
rap.
Oh my god. I really hated Skylar Grey.
She was
Okay,
a-
so-
well,
She got through, like, she was doing one of her songs, and then she just got to a point where she was like, I don't want to do the song anymore.
Yeah.
And she stopped.
Yep.
And then didn't she have, like, another song that she was going to do, but then
She just
said
left.
she wasn't.
She just played a lot of slow songs.
Yep, and then she just left. She did. Okay,
was-
so if you guys had unlimited budget and you were in charge, who were you? Like, who do you have booked
Unlimited
to come?
budget?
Who? Anybody you want? Who do you have coming to play? No, think of the campus, not just you.
I
Who
know.
do you think is going to be the bomb? Who do you want to come here and perform that everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to see X artist at my college when I was a junior, a sophomore, a freshman, a senior, whatever. Come on, Anthony's giggling. Who?
I thought of Bruce Springsteen, but
What the
definitely
heck?
not. I don't even like Springsteen.
I have to say, I don't know if half.
I was
the
just
people
trying to
are
think of,
gonna
like, the
know.
oldest
Why?
guy that people
I'm trying to
would
think
have.
like an alternative band group or
Well,
Anybody
see,
you want.
honestly,
country.
I'd
What?
probably...
Because
Country?
I know a lot of people here that like country.
Well,
Okay.
sure.
Well,
So Florida Georgia Line.
Oh,
That's
I
what I
know
was
a
gonna
lot of
say.
people like that one. I was thinking,
Pick up somebody
Or
with mass
Beyonce.
appeal. Beyonce.
Unlimited budget.
Oh, that's true. Because who doesn't want to see
Bay.
the Queen play?
Boy, bye.
Yeah.
I was thinking something like Cage the Elephant, but like
Who is that?
Oh my gosh.
it's an
what?
alternative rock group.
Just
I-
insert song here. Like, play whatever their most popular song on Spotify is in this slot.
I will. I
Okay.
will. They're really good, and I saw them live last year, and they put on an amazing show. He was crowd surfing. He was jumping all over the place. He was riding on the back of the guitar player while he's soloing. Like, he gets wild,
Okay, so if I got to bring
and I
somebody,
think people really would have enjoyed that.
Linkin Park.
I was
That's
thinking
who's-
or Blink 182.
That's who's. Why do you laugh? Because I think Lincoln. Okay, think about it. Think of the anthology that is Linkin Park. Think
I know,
of.
but
I know. Just
so many of their songs have become memes.
right. I know.
Nickelback?
But they're no.
Oh, more than Nickelback.
Nickelback. That's a different kind of poison.
Nickelback wishes
okay?
they were as memey as.
As
Linkin
Nickelback isn't
Park.
nearly as like internet cool as Linkin Park.
I don't know.
Smash
Blink
Mouth.
But you don't think?
snap.
Oh, that's like 2 songs that they could play.
Hey,
Oh no,
now,
they put on a
you're
really good
an
show
all-star.
too.
I'm
I saw
sure.
them live.
Do you know
And you know how many people would dress up as Shrek to be at
Yeah, I
the
know.
thing?
Who? I wouldn't.
All the frat guys would.
Plenty of people would.
Yeah,
though.
they would. My best. The only reason, because I've seen Linkin Park in concert, and what's
Okay.
nice about Linkin Park is most of Linkin Park is everybody who was in Fort Minor. So if you listen to Fort Minor at
Oh,
all,
I've listened to Fort
they can
Minor,
play.
yep.
They can play Fort Minor all the way through all of their metamorphosis that is that band up until now, which hits pretty much almost every general, like wide spectrum point
Black
of
Eyed-
music.
Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas
Oh,
before or
jeez.
after Fergie, because
God.
Before Fergie.
but I don't even think they get to sing with her anymore because
Or
because all of their stuff that I actually like
was
with
when she was like the
Fergie.
backup. Yeah.
Yes, when she was in that group.
Yeah.
Best show I've ever seen, but I don't know if that would be wide appeal, and I was so surprised.
LMFAO and Black Eyed Peas.
I had free tickets to see Green Day.
Oh, I'd go to Green Day.
Yeah, I'd go
They
to Green
were
Day.
excellent. They played for like 2.5 hours, and they brought out a saxophone at one point. You're
Oh,
like,
I
what?
love Green
They
Day.
were
Yes.
awesome, and it's because they have a crap ton of music, and they can
Yep.
play forever.
Fall Out
And
Boy.
they're good at it. They were horrible in concert.
Really?
I had free. Okay, so my parents all know these people who have corporate tickets, and if no one
Uh-huh.
picks them up, we used to get them sometimes. And when I was like 17, I had tickets to see Fall Out Boy, and I vowed I'd never go to a concert like that again because it was screaming girls for 2 hours, and they only played for an hour and a half because they don't have enough music and they're too young.
That's
Oh,
true.
That
Like-
sounds like the Goo Goo Dolls.
Well,
I
what?
like the Google Dolls.
That's like a sad concert.
They sucked.
Did they? I saw Train, and they
Well,
were
here's
awesome.
the other thing with the Goo Goo
I love
Dolls.
Train.
He finally got to the one song that everybody knows.
Iris?
Iris. He got
The
to it.
only one.
He got to it. He played it. And then after the solo and the breakdown and everything, there was like this moment of silence,
Yeah.
and it was almost magical. And then he picked it back up again, and he messed up, which I was okay with. Although I did clap for that. I was very happy that he
messed up.
because I was not.
Because you're evil.
No, I just wasn't. I went to the concert because Collective Soul was playing before them, and I love
Don't you
Collective
leave
Soul.
though? Because I've done that. I've literally
Well, no, the
bought
people
tickets.
I went with, the people who drove me, did not want to leave yet. But what he said after he messed up, he's like, "Oh, I messed up," and then he points at this woman in the front row, and he's like, "You messed me up. You need to be quiet."
Oh.
He's like, "You need to shut up." And then he kept
Okay.
singing stuff, and was like, "She paid how much money to get front row tickets to see you because she loves you that much, and you just told her to shut up."
Do you think maybe he knew her? Like, I'm just gonna make him sound a little bit better and say maybe he knew her.
I don't
she
know.
was intentionally screwing with him. I saw Marilyn Manson when I was like 16, and I went.
Did he mess with somebody?
That was the worst. That was the worst performance I've ever seen. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited to see Marilyn Manson, and I was dressed as Twiggy. I think it's like either his guitarist or his bassist. And I had this pink jumper on, and these fishnet stockings, and these huge combat boots that were like these platform platen leather. I was like so scary looking. And my girlfriend Natasha was dressed up as Marilyn Manson with like the corset and the boots and the one silver eye and everything. And he came out and performed about like 6 songs, and then threatened to pee on everybody and then left.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah, well, my mom saw Bon Jovi, and he did pee on everybody.
Nice.
Wow.
You know, Jay Giles puts on a really good show.
Who's
Okay, but nobody.
They wrote Centerfold and Freeze
I
Frame.
love
It's
Centerfold.
too old.
I know it's too old.
but it's
Love
great. I would see
Centerfold.
them.
Peter Wolf, like...
I want to see Peter Frampton, and he was just here, and I didn't get to go.
Who
I
sings?
was-
This is gonna sound
No,
like a
the
dumb
thing
question.
is, Peter Frampton, I think, got canceled because
Did
he was touring with Leonard Skinner, and I was
Okay.
going to go because
Right?
of Leonard Skinner.
I saw
but
Leonard
they-
Skinner. They're great. I saw them on 4th of July 5 years ago, and it was awesome because
Wait a
nobody
minute,
was.
wait a minute.
Did you and I go to the same concert?
We might have gone to the same concert.
Yeah, it was awesome.
They just
Awesome.
high-fived.
I've been to like 3 or 4 Skinner concerts.
But they're great. It's just
Well,
fun.
yeah.
Do you go at DTE? Because it's
Yes.
just, yeah, it's
No,
the
they're
best.
great, but there's like there's more to it than just.
It's a party.
Well, like my family in general, like that's something that we bond over.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You guys bond over Skinner?
We bond over Leonard Skinner.
That's really intense family love, man.
Oh my God, the story. I don't know if I want to share the story on
Don't
the
share
podcast.
don't
It's
share the
long.
story. We don't have enough time for the
But
story.
no, they're good. But no, so Frampton canceled. But like the singer for Jay Giles, I thought he was gonna lose his mind. He's like jumping in the crowd, he's stamping the stage, and I thought he was like really hopped up on drugs. Apparently, he just doesn't do drugs. He's just that
High on life?
energetic. Yeah. But Iron Maiden, I thought would be a good concert.
Never heard of them.
They're an old metal band, but they're intense and loud and fast, and their show just
People
sucked.
probably think I'm so dumb on this podcast.
No, it's
Korn.
not that.
I saw Korn. I went to see Avenged Sevenfold, and I saw.
I would see Sevenfold.
It was The Used opened for Avenged Sevenfold, who opened for Korn, and I'm like, these old dudes. We're not even gonna stay for Korn. Screw that band. And they started playing, and it was amazing. And they blew Avenged Sevenfold out of the water, and I can't believe I went
Really?
to see them. No, it was crazy. It was nuts. I was at DTE, and you're surrounded by all these 40-plus people because those people are all there to see Korn, and these people won. Old people know how to party.
They
Okay?
do.
Oh yeah.
They party
Yeah, they do.
hard, and they have money, so they drink a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. And you're on the hill at Pine Knob, so kind of
Yeah.
what's better than that in the middle of the summer, under the stars, just... Getting out of the parking lot is absolute hell, but it was totally worth it because Korn was amazing.
See, and that's why, like, because Korn is up there, like, is in the same place where I would group like Iron Maiden, and I was just disappointed in that because I went to see Ace Frehley, who was the guitar player for Kiss,
Oh God.
opened for Alice Cooper, and Ace Frehley was okay. I really didn't like him because he was selling autographed pictures of himself and guitar picks with his autograph for like $50.
Yeah.
And it was like, you're not that great.
He's here for money. He needed more money. That's
No,
why
he
went
was
on
here for
tour.
money.
Yeah.
But my friend also said when we came back to him, he was like, I think this is a Kiss cover band.
Oh God.
Like he didn't realize
get
where it's
it?
from. But then Alice Cooper puts on a show.
My man's old.
Alice Cooper,
And he kicks some
he
serious
still
ass.
Kicks ass,
Yeah.
and he's so great. And then the main event was Iron Maiden, and they were just kind of
Yeah.
to the point where they even ripped off Alice Cooper at one point.
Did they?
He brings out a giant like Frankenstein on stilts for Feed My Frankenstein. Iron Maiden brought out their own giant eddy, as if we weren't supposed to realize that they were just blatantly ripping off Alice Cooper. It made me mad.
Do you think they just redressed the same guy? Like, go, get out there.
They might have.
Yeah. Do you know who I saw that does that? And I was way too young to go. I was like 14, and my dad took me. He said, "We're going to dinner at your aunt's." And he gets in the car and starts driving, and I'm like, this is not anywhere near where Aunt lives, so where are we going? He takes me to a Rob Zombie Godsmack concert.
Nice.
And if anybody has ever seen Rob Zombie, you understand why somebody who was 14 years old is not meant to be sitting 15 rows from that.
I haven't seen Rob Zombie, but I know he toured with Alice Cooper before, so I can understand.
It's an amazing amount of nudity. It's an amazing. Well, he has those movies, those scary.
Oh right, he does horror movies.
And he plays them in the background of his concerts.
Really?
Yes. So that was interesting. But I wanted to tell you because I think you think it was funny because you're naming all of these older artists and bands. I saw Cinderella and Poison in concert. Oh, you want to talk about some cheesy stuff? It was the first time I ever saw full-grown adults do drugs. It was insane. These people are nuts.
I don't like Bret Michaels.
Nobody likes Bret Michaels. Especially because I grew up in the generation watching him on MTV with all those women in that house.
God.
Right. And then I went and saw him.
That stuff was so terrible.
And then I went and saw him in concert. So I'm like, ew, this is that guy from that TV show and all those slutty girls. What is he doing? I didn't know he actually sang something. I just thought he wore that really bad bandana.
Oh my God. Okay, so then back to the original question though, what would we decide would be a good
Well, I gave my answers. Linkin Park, Green Day.
I said Beyonce or Florida Georgia Line.
Yep.
I would say Black Keys or Cage the Elephant. They both do a good show and they're still relevant.
Oh, so then I have a question because we keep
And they're
we
easily
keep
accessible.
saying this person and this person. Da da da. Does Little Dicky have an opener? Or
I don't know.
because last year we didn't really have an opener for Waka Flocka Flame.
Yeah.
I think Ivan played music for a while. I think he
I
pretty
don't.
much he
Does
did a good
Little Dicky
job.
need an opener?
Probably not.
I feel like he should just walk on stage completely cold with almost no one there and just start playing. I
You
feel
know
like
what
that's
I would
his style.
love to see? This is what I would want. I would actually change it up. I would get Louis C.K. to play the homecoming concert.
Oh my god.
Bo Burnham.
How about that? Or Bo Burnham. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know once, and it was really funny because I used to work up in the office and I would talk to Eula all the time and Eula kind of oversees a lot of the stuff and helps with picking acts and voting. And when she told me, she said, hey, I got this guy that I think I want to try and book for the university. I said, oh, who is it? She said, you ever heard of Daniel Tosh? And I
Really?
said, this was like in 2013. And I said, yeah. And she said, well, I think we want him to come here for a comedy night. I said, did you listen to any of his stuff? And she said, no, why? I said, listen to some of his stuff and then let me know what you think. And I came back like an hour later and she goes, yeah, we can't book him. We can't have him here. She's like, that's like wildly inappropriate. I said, yeah, do you listen to stuff before you book him? She goes, sometimes. And I'm like, just, yeah.
So have they listened to Little Dicky at all?
Yeah, they screamed.
Okay.
This was like I'm saying, this was years ago. It was just funny, and it's especially for homecoming, it's a different process that they go through. It was right after you guys. I don't know. Do you guys remember? Students Planning Activities Monthly, was that still a thing?
I think I remember hearing the name.
She started booking stuff on her own, which is a huge challenge, right after Spam kind of started dissolving, because Spam kind of disappeared after my freshman year, and that was one of the first things that they were just trying to like book stuff, because we used to have stuff every Thursday. We would have something.
Wow.
So I think they were trying to keep it up, and she was like, people keep telling me about Daniel Tosh, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta watch his stuff. Like, you can't just book him. First of all, I don't know where we have budget to book Daniel Tosh, but I mean, like,
sure,
I don't know if that's the most appropriate thing to just bring on this campus. We're pretty low key.
Right. All right. Well, we're out of time.
Yeah, we're a bit over. So
we'll just cut stuff out. This will be the unedited version.
No, we're gonna leave everything in.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
All right, guys.
Before we go, we want to thank our sponsors, Cottage Inn Pizza on Lesser Road and 5th Avenue in Royal Oak.
Got to get that LTU special from Cottage Inn.
Yes.
Rebecca gets it all the time for us. It's pretty good.
We had bacon and pepperoni pizza today.
Yes.
It was good.
And we also want to thank everybody who listens to the show, shares it, supports it. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Larry Tech Talk. You can DM us or email us at larrytechtalk@gmail.com if you have any suggestions for us or you want to come on the show and just talk with us. We're we're fairly laid back people.
Yeah, somebody else should come on so I don't have to
Yes,
fill in.
we'd
Which-
love to have you guys.
Thank you for being an impromptu
Yes.
guest. though.
Somebody come and promote your org. Who doesn't want free publicity for their
Yeah,
organization?
seriously.
There we go.
We miss promoting orgs.
Yeah, especially since it was Rush Week. Come on, people.
Yeah.
Guys gotta step
Get
it up.
to it.
This is free advertisement.
All right, remember to mark your calendars for September 23rd. Little Dicky will be in town,
And the Magnificent Seven will be in theaters.
and that will be in theaters too.
It's going to sound like you posted
Thanks for
it in.
listening, guys.
I'll just keep adding it in throughout the
It's just
thing.
going to
Yeah.
be
Just like
subliminal messaging.
the Magnificent Seven. The Magnificent Seven with Chris Pratt and Denzel.
Oh my God, Chris Pratt.
Go see the Magnificent Seven.
Sorry.
Allison
Swoon.
doesn't.
I
get it
don't.
either.
I don't.
You don't.
Get it.
I'll
You don't-
explain it.
I
I want to
swoon-
explain it to you.
I
There's
swoon
a
over
lot.
fat Chris Pratt, okay?
Fat Chris Pratt was quirky.
Okay,
charming.
fat Chris Pratt is still in my dream book.
F-A-T, not P-H.
Yeah,
A-T.
yeah. No,
So
he was
fat.
still cute.
Now,
It's not about your
now
weight.
he's P-H-A-T.
Now he's just like
All right, guys. Well, that's all. All right, tune in next week when we talk about. We don't know yet, but we'll figure that out.
Oh, I got an idea.
I feel like it has something to do with Magnificent Seven, but that'll be exciting, I guess.
Oh, you don't even know. Like there are layers to this shit, and I want to explain it.
Okay, we've got layers of Magnificent Seven coming up next week. Stay tuned. We're out.
Talk to you guys later.